Good morning, everyone. The food's going to be served in a couple minutes, but we thought just before we started eating, since this month is our 15th anniversary of the NCRO, maybe everybody could just stand and maybe we just have just a moment of silence for our members who have passed during those 15 years. So just a moment of silence. Okay, thank you. Have a nice breakfast. Be back in about a half hour or so. Good morning, everyone. You know, one of our NCRO members recently, relayed a story to me. Yeah, he's really a good guy. But after I tell the story, you decide if he's a good guy or not. It's a sad story. It seems that one day he went to his parish priest and asked if the priest could hear his confession. He said, Sure, my son. Of course. He said, well, Father, at the beginning of the big war some years ago, a beautiful woman knocked on my door and asked me to hide her from the enemy. And the priest said, well, that was a very nice thing you did. That's a wonderful thing. And there's nothing that you need to confess. He said, well, Father, there's more. I'm weak and I feel embarrassed, but at the time, she offered to pay by providing me with some intimate, and I mean very intimate favors, if you know what I mean. And the priest said, no, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But that is pretty serious, but those times were tough. They were bad. And if you wouldn't have done that, you would have put yourself and her in danger. So I think God in His infinite mercy will judge you with kindness. So I think you'll be okay. And he says, well, thanks, Father. That's a big relief. That takes a load off my mind. Thank you very much. Then there's a pause, and he says, Father, can I ask you one more question? He says, sure, son. He says, what is it? He says, do I need to tell her the war's over? He's a really good guy. So, good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's good to see everybody again. And I don't think there's no masks. This is so good, isn't it? No masks. I think we're over that. One thing I do want to comment, though, is that this morning I was coming in. I was a little bit later. And do you ever notice when you're going someplace and you're late, how you catch every red light? You got stuck behind either a driver's training person or, sorry to say, maybe a senior citizen that's going like 5 to 10 miles an hour below the speed limit. Okay. Well, this morning, same thing happened. So I'm behind this guy for the last mile, a half mile, whatever. And I'm tailgating him. And just as I'm ready to turn into the San Marino driveway, he turns into the San Marino driveway too. Right before me, he's like, I think I know this guy. So, all right, I just had to comment. That was an extra. Okay, this is our second in-person meeting this year. We had one in February. Thank you all for attending this meeting and for all the meetings that you come to. We appreciate that very much. This month marks our 15th anniversary of the NCRO when it was started. So May of 2008. I did the arithmetic right. So our event coordinator Dave Poxon, who's sitting right here, he spared no expense, right? I mean, he's got donuts. He even got NCRO on the donuts. I mean, February. I'm sorry, cupcakes. I got donuts. Thank you. I don't bake. So, cupcakes. In February, he had punchkis. I mean, he not only has the cupcakes today, he's got Ziploc bags for you if you want to bring them home. So, is anybody tracking Dave's budget on these things? Sparing no expense. So, I'm getting to the fruit. I'm getting to the fruit. All right. Did I say my name yet? No. My name's Mike Cipineri, and I'll briefly go over a few things. First, I always want to ask, how was your breakfast this morning? Good? And the wait staff did a good job? They always do a good job. Yes, thank you. And San Marino's been our home for about the last 11 or 12 years, and the wait staff had to work extra hard today because the fruit is back. Because I guess we didn't have it last meeting. See, fruit is back. I think that qualifies as a healthy breakfast then, right? Healthy breakfast, okay. So thank you, San Marino. Okay, this is our 51st in-person breakfast meeting since NCRO began in 2008. But it's still amazing that we've been able to keep that string and like I say, have the attendance that we do. So once again, thank you for coming, especially with all the disruptions we've had in the past with stuff that goes on at Chrysler, the COVID thing, yada yada, everything. So thank you for your support and interest, and please keep it up. Appreciate that very much. Today we had 130 members that attended here in person. Once again, thank you, and I think we have about 30 people on our webinar. So welcome to them too for attending via the webinar. We instituted the webinar, but I think it started taking away from our attendance at this. But it's good. It's good. The biggest thing is want people to attend either way. All right, a few things I want to go over. If you haven't visited our website in a while, please do. The website has been redone, and it was launched in mid-January. And if you haven't gone to it, please do. It's more colorful, it's more exciting, and I think the maintenance of it is really a lot more proactive. So please do. I think you'll like it. We think you'll like it. So please do that. You also have the opportunity still, when you go to the website, you can change your personal information. Okay, like your addresses, and if that changes, and your telephone number and things like that. It's at the top of the home page, and what is that called? That is called the Members Only tab, way at the top. Just click on that, and you only need to know two things to get into your record. You need to know your last name, should be okay, and your NCRO ID number, which is on the invoice stubs that we send out. So, and if that doesn't work, just call our office or write in, and we can do the changes for you too. But if you want to give that a shot, please do. Our outstanding insurance committee continues to be outstanding. They answer questions when questions come in via our website and phone numbers into our office. Every year they do seminars, and their next seminar is going to be June 21st. And that's going to be a webinar, so nothing in person, just online. So that's June 21st, and the subject is depression. Okay, and then the next seminar is the Medicare seminar on September 13th. And that will be an in-person also. And I think that's on the webinar also, right? You guys broadcast that, yeah. Thank you for everybody for paying their annual dues on time. Well, at least thanks for paying it. We continue to get the checks in, so thank you for doing that. And thank you for your patience. I know at the beginning, when we send out the invoices, you send the checks in. I know there's a long delay before some of those checks are cashed, and that's just because we wait for them to get collected, and then we have a group come in and do them all at once. So thank you for paying your dues, and thank you for your patience on that. And remember, as an NCRO member, you automatically are a member of the NRLN, National Retirees Legislative Network, which we contribute to. Also, thank you for contributing to our CAF fund. That helps us a lot. Okay, and I think this is kind of the last one. Please continue to support our retiree-friendly dealerships. They advertise on our website. They support us. So if you have an opportunity to support them, please do. And we have a couple reps this morning, one from Galling and one from Friendly. And if you'd like to introduce yourselves.
Working? Great. Good morning, everybody. I'm Mike Golling from Golling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Bloomfield Hills, Roseville, and Chelsea. First off, congratulations on 15 years.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you, as always, for inviting us and letting us join you for your breakfast. And always look forward to this it seems to be quarter, 3 times a year. 3 times a year. Well, it's even better then. All right, so thank you so much.
Good morning, I'm Brian Ackerman from Jim Rails Friendly. We have 3 stores, one in Warren, Michigan, Washington Township, and Lapeer. And we're happy to be here as always to support the NCRO, and thank you for inviting us.
All right, great. Thank you very much. And like I say, please, if you have an opportunity, please support them. It keeps them healthy, keeps Chrysler healthy, and if Chrysler's healthy, we should be healthy. So, real quick too, I'd like to introduce a couple here. I think if I heard this right, they've been NCRO members, but this is the first breakfast that they've been to, and they live in Milan, which is a little bit of a ride from here. It's Stoney and Ernestine, and they've been married 61 years. Yeah, welcome everybody. Thank you. And just to finish up those notes, if you have any questions or issues, please feel free to contact our office. Phone number, it's on our website. You can also write into our website, and they're usually either dues questions or some sort of insurance question, and usually somebody will definitely get back to you within a 24-hour. If not, then that's probably because an email got lost or something like that. But please submit your questions. So, okay, let's go over, I think, today's agenda. Is that correct? We'll go to the agenda. Okay. All right, 10 o'clock, we had our breakfast. 10:30 to 11, that's what we're into now, the news and information. I'll touch more on that a little bit later. Jay Cooney, our president, usually does most of the up-to-date. And then at 11 o'clock, our keynote speaker today, Joe Hilger, he'll talk about Mopar, Hemi, and Dodge, more than just brand names. That'll be good. That'll be good. And then Q&A around 11:30 to 12 o'clock in that time frame, so we should have you out of here by noon, 12:15. Around that time. Okay. All right. Now comes time. I usually introduce Jay, but Jay is not here today. He usually brings you up to date on news and information that's relative to us, relative to seniors, relative to Chrysler. But he's not here. His calendar kind of got mixed up, so he apologizes for not being here. This is the first breakfast meeting that he's missed in 13 years. So that's pretty cool. But he really wanted to be here, so but you got me. So anyways, so I got just a few notes from Jay. The story of the NCRO, it's been written up, Jay wrote it up, and it should be launched on our website today. Is it on there now?
Didn't check.
Today. Sometime today. And it's good reading if you want to know how NCRO started and just kind of the history of it. Please look at that. And I think it's printable. You can download it and print it if you're interested in that. Okay, a couple notes that Jay just wanted me to relay to you also. Legislation was passed last year to, okay, can you guys read that? Okay, I'll read it this way. Legislation was passed last year to dramatically improve the ERISA protection for retirees involved in pension overpayment issues. If you recall, and this goes back a couple years ago, some of our members were getting notes from Chrysler saying, hey, sorry about that, we calculated your pension wrong and we were giving you too much, so you owe us this much money. Okay, and so NCRO along with the NRLN, they drafted legislation, and it was passed into law last year. And I think that's actually pretty cool that an organization like ours can actually have an impact in our government. Some of the key points of that, companies can only go back 3 years from the initial overpayment, okay, to collect from the pensioner. For previously, they could go back to the beginning of time, and some of the people are being hit with some pretty big bills. Now, companies can collect the funds from the pensioner only over a 10-year period versus previously it was forever. Whatever it was, you owe us that money. And also, companies cannot charge interest on the overage that was before they could charge the interest on that. And the final one, the main point is they cannot collect from the beneficiaries. So that's I think that's a success for the NCRO and the NRLN. This doesn't just apply to Chrysler retirees. This applies to all retirees. Yeah, and Jay was a big part of that. Jay was a pusher. Deb Morissette was a big part of that. The board, some key. The problem with mentioning people's names is you always tend to leave somebody out. So I apologize if I did leave somebody out. But there was a lot of work that went into that. And now the next thing that they're working on is it's critical, and they're focusing on getting the appropriate protection for retirees whose pensions will be de-risked by the company through annuitization. Maybe some of your pensions possibly have been moved out of the pension category and kind of sold to either a prudential or an insurance company, where now the pension really is kind of an annuity. So in those are good. Those are good. Okay, but we're trying to get more protections for those people, similar to the way the PBGC does for pension protection. So the NCRO is working with the NRLN and the Pension Rights Center, and have developed legislative language that requires reinsurance to cover the entire amount of the annuitized pension. Already working with key legislative staffs to get this language into a bill as soon as possible. And as we make progress, we'll continue to update our members on the progress. So those are the main points that Jay wanted me to share with you. And if you have any questions on those later on in the show, bring it up during the Q&A session.